The Zambezi Delta in Mozambique is one of Africa's best conservation success stories. I had the pleasure of meeting professional hunter Mark Haldane, who has transformed the area. And after meeting Mark and hearing about his passion and understanding some of what he had done to transform the area, Jay and I booked a trip and had to see it firsthand.
Yep, I'd say it's on.
We traveled from Georgia to Johannesburg and Johannesburg to Beira, Mozambique. And from Beira, we took a helicopter to camp. And it was immediately apparent outside of the city, there was not much forest, and certainly there were no animals. We were only a couple hundred feet above the ground, and we could see really well. But as we got closer to Coutada 11, and we got near the camp, it changed. The forest was flourishing, and we started to see game. And it was clear that the efforts of conservation by Mark Haldane were visibly apparent. After booking the trip, Mark gave us the book written by Mike Arnold, an esteemed research professor that's the head of genetics at the University of Georgia. And Mike is going to give you a little bit more background about how this area is truly remarkable.
It's called the Mara-Mayo Complex. So Coutada 11 sits in the center of it, basically, of this complex just south of the Zambezi River. And it's 500,000 acres. None of the Coutadas in that area are fenced. It's in what's called the Zambezi Delta. Mozambique, just prior to the Civil War, was known as the France of Africa. Big game hunters knew it for dangerous game as well as just many of the species that we think of that are beautiful, like sable antelopes and waterbucks. It was a hunter's paradise. The sad part was, because of the Civil War, millions died. You had all of the abuses you can imagine because of a civil war. It turned the country from a rich, attractive country to the outside, ecosystems that were filled full of these wonderful animals and plants. All of those disappeared during the Civil War. Everything that was a protein source was eaten because people were starving to death. So enter Mark Haldane and his collaborators in 1992 is when the peace accord was signed. In 94, they took over and they started hunting operations again in Coutada 11. When they entered, before the Civil War, let's just give you buffalo, Cape buffaloes. In that area, in Coutada 11, they had 45,000. When the war ended, they had 1,200. They had 8 zebras left. They had 30 sable antelopes, and they had in the thousands. So all of those animals were gone, as were the habitats surrounding that area. So Mark and his colleagues decided, all right, we are going to see what happens if we protect this area through hunting dollars. And they started hiring the locals, and they started giving the locals immediately protein from the hunted animals.
We have a community beekeeping program. We've tried to target the women in the community. They're very downtrodden in this part of Mozambique. So we've made the senior wife of a family in charge. We call them bee shepherds. We supply the hives and they look after the hives. When harvest time comes, they have the choice either to keep the honey themselves, which virtually never happens, or we will harvest it, weigh it at harvest, and they paid immediately for their honey, which has given them a much needed income, especially for those folks that are not already working for us.
They have now passed carrying capacity of all of their animals, actually, and they're starting to spread out of the Coutada because they are finding new habitats elsewhere. So their Cape buffaloes are back up to 45,000, 50,000 animals. I haven't ever seen anything like flying over that area in a helicopter and seeing these Cape buffaloes.
Another one of our community projects which has been a great success is our community fishing program. The Delta holds an incredible population of catfish, barbel as we call them locally. It's phenomenal. I mean, 5 fishermen will pull out a pickup load of fish in 5 days. It's an area that we are confident cannot be easily overexploited because the delta is covered by a layer of papyrus and there are only a couple of little pools that the buffalo, the elephant and mainly the hippo keep open. It's been a really good conservation effort and a great one for the community. They get a lot of protein out of it. They utilize that within their families and they smoke the fish and they also sell a lot of the fish, which gives them much needed cash.
So this whole area has been recreated ecologically with these kinds of revolutionary times for the Sena villagers being employed, being fed. Each week, the Sena villagers, each family gets 10 pounds of red meat. This is what conservation through hunting looks like. This is what restoration of people's lives through hunting looks like. And it's a beautiful, perfect model, I think, for understanding the value of hunting.
I got for the week coon. Spot and stalk? Or,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. No blinds. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
The bow hunting in Coutada 11 is like nothing I've ever experienced. You can make a dozen stalks in a single day, and the amount of experience that you get is equivalent to a lifetime of hunting in the United States. Jay and I both really enjoy bow hunting, and each afternoon we would reminisce about the day's hunt, marveling about the number of opportunities with the bow. Jay was having a great time chasing animals with his bow, and he was realizing that this area is truly special.
job, guys. Good job. Good job. Awesome, awesome.
Broke the ice, got this beautiful common reed buck here. Poen spotted him, and when the guide gets excited, you know it's one to go after. So he was quartering away steeply, and not the ideal shot, but we were able to follow him up and put him down. So Poen, thank you. Tell me more about these common reed buck in this area.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
and well done. That's
Thank you.
a very good reed buck. Yeah, this is a common reed buck. You get a few different reed buck species. This is the common, and yeah, they full up in this delta area. We've got a lot here. We must have seen maybe 100 already this morning.
I think this is the third one we stalked already, and it is 2 o'clock on day one, and I think this is the third one we've already been after. So
Yeah.
beautiful animal, super happy to have him.
I'll never forget the day that I got my Cape buffalo. We spent most of the rest of the day chasing waterbuck with a bow, and then late in the day we came up on a warthog. And I wanted to just get a few yards closer. But as I creeped in, I spooked the warthog. And I made the shot. He jumped the string, and it was such a negative ending to what was an amazing day when we got the Cape buffalo. But 5 minutes later, we were on another stalk.
One last crack at it. We'll see what happens.
I made a good shot this time, and what an amazing day. Cape buffalo in the morning, warthog with my bow in the afternoon. But that's the beauty of hunting with a bow in Mozambique. There's always another opportunity, and it might be just around the next corner. One of my favorite parts of the trip was the meat drop. After harvesting a Cape buffalo, the following day we went to a local village and donated the meat. Each family got around 10 pounds, and it fed dozens of local families in the village. And what a heartwarming experience to understand how the excitement of the hunt translated into protein for these families that desperately need it. I spent a lot of time chasing this sable during the week. Every day for 4 days, went after him on a stalk with a bow. The very first day he was by himself and provided the best opportunity, but he stayed safely away from the tree line so I couldn't get close enough. And then the following day he joined a herd, and the amount of eyes coupled with the distance from the trees, even though stalk after stalk we'd get close on the tree line, try to get close enough for a shot, and it would not work out. The PH thought this sable was truly spectacular, and after the 4th day, we decided to give the rifle a shot.
We had a big sable in this pan yesterday afternoon. Hopefully he's going to be back. The wind wasn't quite right for us to get a shot, but hopefully we'll be able to sneak into bow range today.
If he stays with the heart of you, it's gonna be a bow. He took off.
That was our sable. Came around the corner and he took off. So we're gonna give it some time. He'll stick around close enough we can get a stalk on. But he was right behind a tree. We couldn't see him until he took off. But we'll see.
Okay, you clear. Go for it when you're ready.
All right, fire.
There you go. Good shooting.
That one was a lot of stalks in the making.
Phil and I've been watching that bull for a long time.
Brazil's very happy. He's finally down.
Young, that boss can look good, but it hasn't hardened up as such. It hasn't developed yet hard. So that's what we're looking for, something hard boss bull. That heavy bugger. Big neck.
This is pretty amazing. A herd thinks that we're just another animal when we're under this burlap tarp. And so we can just walk closer and closer, and they don't think anything of it. Whereas if we were walking just individually, they would bolt.
All right, good work. Wow, that was that happened quick.
Yeah, that happened quick. So he stayed at the back end. That was definitely the one that I wanted to shoot back there. That was him. I just needed to confirm because.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Absolutely beautiful ball. That
Oh,
worked
that's-
out really nice. That was
That's
fun.
an adrenaline rush. Very, very happy with this dagger boy.
Beautiful old bull, nicely worn down tips and drops, and you've got these huge big bosses, big gnarly old bosses. So yeah, well done. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Good work, Ralph. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Take your time and get Good shot.
Well done. Well done.
Good shot.
Well, that happened fast. Let's go for a walk. Oh, there he is. What a bushbuck, man. Yeah, hard to do any better than that, huh? That's as big as they go.
He's worn already. Old.
Yeah.
Probably this long.
Really?
Yeah, he's worn down.
Ah, look, he's got scars all over him. Ward, look at them. Look at the scars on them. Wow. We left camp this morning at 4 a.m. You got to get up really early to beat the sun here in Mozambique. Came and sat for, I guess, about 2.5 hours, hoping he would come out to drink water and we could get a bow shot, but he didn't. Poon spotted a female and said, let's get up, take a walk. We hadn't walked 100 yards. Poon spotted him, grabbed the sticks, and fortunately I was able to make a good shot on him and have a really a tremendous trophy bushbuck, and couldn't be happier with him. So
Yeah, congratulations.
well, thank you, Poon.
That's
Thank you.
a once in a lifetime bushbuck. It was an excellent shot. It wasn't the easiest shot. He was straight on at about close to 100 yards, I'd say. And yeah, well done. You pulled it off, and here he is.
Poon told me to shoot quickly. Usually quick and good don't go together for me, but this one worked out. So couldn't be happier.
The last species on my list was an Inyala, and we had hunted Inyala every afternoon the entire week, and I was still hopeful to get one with a bow.
There's a really nice Inyala. It was 800, close to cap at 500. See if we get a little bit closer, but there's a lot of animals between us and them that may bolt and scare them away, so.
But late in the day, as a couple of mature shooters came out, decided to go with the rifle. The tracker had brought the rifle and thought I had the bullets, and I thought he had the bullets, and when I went to squeeze one off to take down this nice mature Inyala, there were no bullets. So the PH had to do a race against time to get back to the truck, not spook anything, and get back to me before dark. and he did it just in the nick of time. And just as light was expiring, I was able to get off a round and harvest the last item on my list, the Inyala. So excited about it.
Thought it might happen, and again he busted us. Took off. Easy rifle range, but bow range, there's just so many factors. The noise, the wind, the reed buck whistling, the warthogs, we'll see.
Another stalk on a water buck. A couple 100 yards ahead. Stay 10 yards out of bow range for about 10 minutes. Unbelievable.
Wait, he's gonna go down, Spot on, the way he jumped like that.
This buck this morning we got within bow range, and I let one fly at about 47 yards, and just as I released the arrow he turned to the right, clean miss. We chased him for about another hour, a little more, and then pulled out the rifle and got him a little over 200 yards. Good work, Rye.
Yeah, well done. Very good shot. Yeah, we did have him nice and close for a while, but yeah, we switched to the rifle. What an exceptional waterbuck. I mean, really old waterbuck, got that huge mass, and that's an absolute monster of a waterbuck. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome trophy to take there. They really are special ones.
Jay and I had very high expectations going into this trip. He hoped to harvest 8 animals, I hoped to have 6, and we had all of those plus a few more. Few places I've been that I've had as high of expectations going in, and this exceeded it. It crushed it. It blew it out of the water. It was better than anything I could have ever imagined. In fact, my family visited the national park in Zimbabwe the previous summer, and there was way more game in the Zambezi Delta. Something that I would highly recommend, and something that truly exceeded our expectations beyond anything we could have hoped. Mark Haldane's vision of a thriving ecosystem has come to fruition because of conservation through hunting. If you're interested in a trip to the Zambezi Delta, give Shoshone a call and we'll help you plan it.